All right, record. Okay. The primary website that we'll be using this semester will be D2L. I think that's pretty consistent across almost all classes. They're all using the D2L page or the D2L website for most courses. Pretty much everything that we do will be through this website. We'll have one additional resource that's outside of D2L, but there's a link to it on D2L. So first thing you notice on the home page under announcements, there's the Zoom link to what we're in right now. So congratulations, you've already figured that part out. I'm going to delete this registration link probably after class today, but the Zoom link will still remain. That's what you'll click to get into class. And we have those classes Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Uh, I'll be here Mondays and Wednesdays, and then we have 4 ULAs who will be running the Friday sections. So when it comes to actually coming to class, attendance is not required for any of the 3 days that we hold class. All of the lectures are recorded. In fact, they're already recorded, and I'm hosting those on YouTube. And that'll all the information you need throughout the semester that you would normally get in a lecture style class will just be in a pre-recorded lecture you can watch whenever you want. Meaning that if you come to class, I'll be doing something much more similar to office hours, being that I'll be taking questions from you. So say you watch the video and you've got questions or something just wasn't quite explained right for you, you can come to class and I can provide a more interactive explanation of how that works. Or say you're working on the homework and there's a problem that doesn't necessarily make sense. You can again come bring that to class and I can solve it, on the screen in front of us. Because that's the power of technology. Yeah. So once again, class time is not required. So MSU is big on the words synchronous and asynchronous right now. So if you'd like it to be, this course can be 100% asynchronous with a synchronous option for anybody who wants to show up. Next on the announcements section, we have a link to purchase the online version of the textbook. Textbook is not required. I won't be assigning anything that's graded out of the textbook. There are some suggested bonus homework problems if you're looking for extra material, and those we'll get to in just a second. But yeah, so you can purchase the textbook if you'd like it. If you find having a math textbook is helpful, you can pick it up. Otherwise, you can safely ignore it. So to come to a quick question in the chat. So lectures are not during class time. Yes, that is correct. I won't be doing a traditional lecture during class time. Instead, that has already been recorded, so you can just watch those videos on your own time. And I'm going to save class time for something more interactive rather than just me, lecturing at you. I can do that more efficiently in a recorded video. That is correct. Recitations are also not required. A recitation will work much the same way that class time does, where it's sort of like an office hour. Just that the recitations are split into smaller groups, whereas the main lecture is, everybody. So that's the big difference between Mondays and Wednesdays and Fridays. So cool. There's class time and the textbook. On the subject of class time, you can see that there are 6 different times listed, or I guess 8 if you count Mondays and Wednesdays as their own separate days. You are welcome to come to any of those 8 times that you'd like. It doesn't matter what you signed up for in the schedule. You can come to any of these if they fit your schedule. Since it, we're pretty relaxed as far as when you don't want to come to class. So let's move on from, all right, there's one more thing that's on here, and that's the calendar. So over on the right, at least hopefully it's only showing for this class, all of our quizzes and exams will show up in the calendar. They start every Thursday. We'll talk more about that in a second. If we come over here to the toolbar at the top of the page, this has pretty much everything that you'll need. All of the learning material for the course is going to be under this content tab. There's another tab for Zoom. If you click this, it'll just take you, it's just the Zoom link for class. So you can click here to get into class. We have a web work tab. That'll be our online homework. And finally, quizzes is where you'll go to take all quizzes and exams. So if we just click on this tab real quick, and actually, let's view this as a student instead of as me. There we go. Quizzes. So you should see this pop up. All the quizzes are listed on top. The exams are listed below that. And then the final exam is down here. This is for everything that's closed because none of these are open yet. Whenever a quiz or exam opens, it'll come to the top. You can find it there. So if you click on a quiz, like say, click on quiz 1, it'll bring you to this summary page before you get in. There'll be a start quiz button down about right here once it's actually open, and you can click on that to get in. But importantly, every quiz and exam will come with a description shown right here. And in that description, it'll tell you which worksheets will be covered on any quiz or exam. The quizzes and exams are not proctored. You'll take them on your own. And these quizzes are open note, so you can bring whatever you like. A calculator will, definitely be useful some of the time. So whatever calculator you desire is fine with me. You can have whatever notes you like with you. Again, it's an unproctored, so yeah, have at it. So let's come over to the content tab. So here we have a whole bunch of stuff. Let's start by maybe looking at the overview. So from my understanding, pretty much every course has an overview that looks like this because the university sent out a template that they asked us all to fill in. So as far as just like an at a glance goes, just about everything you might need should show up on this section. When to show up for class time or office hours, TA office hours. Yeah, well, I don't really want to talk about that too much. Let's take a look at the course syllabus. So I've got 2 files listed under the course syllabus. One of them is a syllabus and the other is a schedule. Let's start by just looking at the syllabus. So here's our syllabus for Math 114 in spring 2021. You've got me being the lecturer / instructor. My office is there. Not that that means anything because I will not be in my office at all for this semester. Oh, and I realized I missed a couple questions in the chat. Let me take those real quick. So about how many questions roughly on each quiz? 10 to 20 probably. I try and break it up so that so every quiz and exam is a multiple choice quiz or exam because they're all online. So I erred on the side of more questions so that no single question is worth too many points. So somewhere around 10 to 20 questions. Yes, it is correct. The quizzes last 50 minutes, as in 50. When we get to the exams, those will last for 2 hours. I don't expect them to take that long. You just have that much time should you need it. So the video lectures, you can find the links on D2L, but they will link you to YouTube videos. I found that that's tends to be the most friendly video hosting platform. If you have trouble accessing YouTube, say it's stuck behind some sort of firewall, you'd know what I'm talking about if it affects you. Just let me know, send me an email saying that you can't access YouTube this semester, and I'll provide some sort of alternate alternative hosting platform for you. As far as quizzes and exams go, you will get just one attempt, with the exception of the first quiz. Because it's the first one and it starts tomorrow, which is soon because this semester is a little cramped. So I'm going to give 2 attempts on that one, and I'm also going to be extending the time on the first quiz. But also, we'll get to that in a minute. Oh right, we added a 4th TA that's not listed here yet, so I should fix that at some point. So altogether, we'll have 4 ULAs: Lamar, Gabby, Connor, and Ashley, who's not listed at the moment. But I'll fix that later on today. There's a section in here about academic integrity. Basically it just says don't cheat. Don't really think we need to go into too much detail there. There's a section on the textbook where it's Math 114 Trigonometry Special Edition. The important bit is there are a few different textbooks out there. If you want to get the one that I'll be drawing out of this semester, make sure that you pick up the one that's authored by Larson. It's also produced by Cengage, should that come up. But Larson is the author you're looking for. As long as the author is Larson, any edition of the book will do. It does not have to be the newest edition. Okay, so exams, quizzes, and then the final exam. All the information we might need to know about that. So there are 4 exams and 8 quizzes. Each exam is worth 100 points. Each quiz is worth 80 points. The final exam is worth 150, and then altogether the homework will be worth 120 points. So with that in mind, we will be dropping a few things. We'll drop the 2 lowest quizzes, so only 6 of the 8 quizzes will count in the end. Of the 4 exams, we'll drop the lowest exam, so only 3 of the 4 exams will count toward your grade in the end. And then the final exam counts sort of no matter what. And like I said, I think that's 150 points. So it says that the dates are tentative, but I think they're more or less set at this point. A quiz or an exam will open every Thursday. So every Thursday at 7 in the morning will be the earliest you could start any quiz or exam, and they're open for a period of 2 to 4 days. So every quiz will open Thursday at 7 in the morning, and then it will close Friday night at 11 o'clock. And so all you have to do is take the quiz at any point in time between Thursday morning and Friday night. And again, log on whenever you want to take that within that 2-day window. And again, every quiz or exam will start on a Thursday, and then quizzes will close Friday night, while exams I'm giving until Sunday night. So an exam will open up Thursday morning, and then the period will close down Sunday night. So again, just log on and take it at any point in time in that window. Yeah, that looks about right. So the textbook homework, I'll elaborate more on that in a minute, but I have assigned homework out of the textbook. You don't turn it in and it never gets graded, so you don't have to do it at all. Think of them more as suggested problems if you're looking for more. If you want more material to go over, you can find some in the textbook. And then I've suggested some homework problems to take a look at. The online homework is graded, so make sure that you do the web work. So that's the stuff that's online. You get a grade right away. All the web work assignments are going to be due Friday nights, I think, again, at 11 o'clock. So every Friday night, you have a homework assignment due, which means that if you're saving everything for the last day, you can come with a lot of those web work questions to the recitations on Friday. And the ULAs will be happy to help you with any questions that you have there. We go into a bit more about how the grading works. So each set is going to be worth 12 points, and there are 12 homework sets, and so I'll drop 2 of those. So in the end, 10 sets that count for 12 points each. again, dropping the lowest 2. If you're coming over from Math 103, there's a period where they do 75% credit on web work. We don't do that here. So it'll just be 100% credit until then, the deadline. So again, that deadline is every Friday night. So make sure you do something by every Friday. Currently, I think there's a tutorial set that's open, and that's what's due this Friday. So your first real assignment is due next Friday. The homework or the tutorial is totally optional. It doesn't count toward your grade. So if you don't do the tutorial, like say you've used web work before, I don't think you need to do the web work tutorial. So you don't have to bother. Yeah, that looks about right. Oops, that's a typo. It should say Friday right there. I'll fix that later. All right, there's a course evaluation section, which breaks down all of the things that you're graded on over the course of the semester, of which there are 4 things: exams, a final exam, homework, and quizzes. And there's a percentage breakdown based on the total course score. Beyond that, there's a scale that kind of tells you what GPA you get based on the percentage you have in the course. Feel free to look that up whenever. So there is a web work fee. Since you have to pay for web work, that's a big factor in not requiring a textbook. So you don't have to pay for 2 different things. So think of it as paying for web work instead of paying for a textbook. It's not great, but hey, whatever. We do what we got to do. Web work is free for the first few weeks. So in fact, you're not even able to pay for it right now. We won't open up the payment window until the drop date passes, because web work is non-refundable. So, if anybody is still changing around their course schedule, I don't want you to pay for something that's non-refundable for a class that you don't end up keeping. So that'll go live February 8th. That's what we think. But make sure that you're doing the homework before then, because it'll be happening. There's some protocol in here for what happens if you miss the pay date. But yeah, you'll probably end up emailing me if you miss, and we'll sort it out together. Here's a few useful links, but if you've made it to the syllabus, I think you've found better ways to use these links anyway. So that's probably not too important. All right, cool. There's our syllabus. If we click on the schedule, here's a rough breakdown of what you should be doing when. We're currently in week 2 because this week is crazy, or this semester is insane. So over here on the right column, this is where I'm suggesting those homework problems out of the textbook. Again, they are totally optional. You do not need to do them. You do not need to turn them in. You will not be graded on them. So it's just if you want some extra material to go over, you can find it here in the course schedule. Also, it tells you which sections we'll be going over in the text in each week, as well as, it lists when the quizzes and exams are. The way that the course works, we take 2 quizzes and then an exam. So quiz, quiz, exam, quiz, quiz, exam. Then we take a 1-week break, and then that cycle repeats. Quiz, quiz, exam, quiz, quiz, exam. 1 more break, and then the final exam. The final exam is cumulative, so it'll cover basically everything we do in the course. But every other quiz and exam, I've provided a breakdown of exactly which worksheets you'll want to find in order to take that quiz or exam. So spring break is weird this semester. We're getting like Tuesday and Wednesday off in that week of March 1st to March 5th. So what I've done is basically I'm not assigning any work during that week. So probably we won't be holding class time during that week either. So we're basically just going to treat it like it's spring break anyway, at least in this class. So there will not be a quiz that week. There will not be a homework set due that week. We're just going to kind of take a break. It's also like exactly halfway through the semester. So it's right after exam 2. out of 4. So we'll just chill for a couple days. I mean, what are we going to do with Tuesday and Wednesday off anyway? Doesn't make any sense. You can follow all the way through until here we have week 16 is when the final exam is. It'll be open all day. But the final exam is the one thing that's only open for a single day. As well as at the bottom, because this semester is kind of cut short by a week, I've cut out 1 week's worth of material, and that'll be week 12. I've left the content on D2L, so if you'd like to go learn that material, it's there for you. If you want to ask me any questions about it, that's totally cool too. I can also go over stuff out of that material. But, and here's the important line, you will not be quizzed or examined on anything out of this cut content section. So it'll be there if you want to learn it, but it's not necessary. And again, you'll not be graded on anything that's in that section. So what do the notes look like? Since I see that over in the chat, and that's what we're going to get to anyway. That's what's next. There's also another spot where you can find the Zoom link. So it's in like 3 different places on D2L. So you should be able to find it just about anywhere. So if we get to the class notes, that's what we had open a minute ago. It takes you to a OneNote document. Here we have all 15 worksheets. If you click on just the basic worksheet, it's a blank copy. If you're the kind of person who would want to print out a worksheet and then work on it as you go through a lecture, you can do that. So basically print this off and then watch the video. And when you watch the video, you'll be looking at all of the sub pages that are underneath each worksheet. So that here for worksheet 1, I just go through solving a bunch of problems, and you can find the work right here. And then also worksheet 7, there's a bunch with SOHCAHTOA that's here and solving a bunch of stuff. I've made liberal use of colors in my notes, so hopefully you find that helpful. But yeah, if you click the class notes, it'll take you to that. We have Piazza, but I want to talk about that later. So let's look at the class or the video lectures. And let's also, well, right now, so if you have student view, only the exam 1 content is going to show up. And if you click within that, you can get to each of the worksheets that are available. So exam 1 is going to cover the first 4 worksheets. Here is another link to that blank PDF. But below that, there are 2 links to a YouTube video. So right here, you can click on YouTube. You can click on that link. It takes you to the YouTube video, and it should be playing. I don't think I'm sharing my sound right now, so you won't be able to hear it, but it's right here. And some fancy things you can do with YouTube videos, if you didn't know about them already. Under settings, you can change the playback speed. So you can go up to 2 times speed if you really want to. If you find that I'm going kind of slow, you can speed it up and go through the lectures at lightning speed. If lightning speed is, 2 times speed. You can also enable the subtitles if you like. They all have auto-generated captions, and it'll show up down here. So fancy stuff with YouTube videos. If I come over here to click quit viewing as a student for a moment, just so we can take a look at what it'll look like all together. So in the end, I've sorted each worksheet by the exam that it covers. These will start opening up as basically after we take exam 1, then the exam 2 content window will open up so that you don't get overwhelmed with too much information. And like I said, worksheet 12 is actually going to get moved because it'll not be an exam 4 content anymore. But so these are all the worksheets. And again, if you click on any quiz or exam, like if we come over here, come back to preview quiz 1, it'll tell you at the top which worksheet that quiz is covering. So just worksheet 1 for quiz 1. And then here's that start quiz button down at the bottom. I did wanted to say one other thing about that while we're here. So every quiz starts on a Thursday and it's open until Friday night. You get 1 attempt at every quiz or exam, with the exception of the first quiz. So let's talk about the first quiz real quick. So it opens tomorrow. And since it is sort of the first week and we've only had our first lecture today and the first, quiz is tomorrow, I've made this one a little more forgiving. So instead of closing Friday night, the first quiz is going to close Wednesday night of next week. So you have a full week in which you can take the quiz. Again, take it whenever you want. I also am giving you 2 attempts. So if you study for the quiz, give it a shot, and then see that maybe you were unprepared, or maybe you didn't have a chance to ask any questions of me or the TAs before you took the quiz, you have a second attempt. So if you want to take one, tomorrow or Friday, see how you do, and then find that you'd rather come ask me questions before you take your second attempt, totally cool. And again, that's just for the first quiz, because it's it's a little cramped this semester. Yeah, so the notes are worksheets, and there are 15 of them. Do I think this class prepares you for calc? I think algebra prepares you for calc. This class will just fill in a couple extra gaps. But calculus is mostly about, if you're prepared for calculus, it's mostly about being good at algebra. Trigonometry shows up in only a couple sections in calculus. I mean, they're sort of critical when you get to those sections. Don't get me wrong, but yeah, algebra definitely is that's the thing that prepares you for calculus. So lastly, we have Piazza. So if we click on that, it should take you here. And yeah, there's a couple of tutorials that you have to read before you can post a question. So here's just a welcome message. Here's a tutorial on how to take screenshots on your computer, because it's much nicer if you use your computer to take a screenshot rather than if you use your phone to take a picture of your computer monitor. So if you're going to use Piazza, which I think everybody's already enrolled in it, please learn how to take a screenshot with your computer. So cool. All right. That is the end of what I needed to record. So I'm going to turn the recording off, and then I'll open up questions to you guys.